What's up, people? Fought going to sleep just to hop on. Oh man. You guys get involved in local politics? I know you do. Should I? Should I run for mayor? You think I should be mayor? I need more of a platform, huh? What do you guys think? Just be a model? Put me in touch with someone, Jonathan. I know you know someone. Woo! Y'all ugly down here? What do you mean? You're 15 minutes from the beach. Everyone's in shape. Everyone's in shape down there. Going outside for walks. That's awful. So you think I should run for mayor? You guys need to help me blow up. I need more of a platform. You guys heard of Togi?
Tools that have gotten our users these type of results have become even more powerful. And now with our completely revamped offerings,
what's your advice to young people who feel like just the price of everything's going up, opportunities are hard to come by, and they want to be successful?
It's not that you want to be successful, it's that you have to be successful. Every day okay, I'll put it this way. When you end your life, you're either living your fears or your dreams. And the fears being you never reached your fullest potential, you never took care of your kids, you never retired your mother, you never treated your friends right with everything that they deserve. single day the sun comes up, and that's a day that you're either watching Rick and Morty, smoking, which is feeding your fears, or every day you're headed towards your dreams. So there's no I want to be successful. You have to, and all you can do is that day make sure that you're on the side of the dreams. It might not feel like you're making that much progress, but if you go to the gym that day, you get your
Am I the only one here?
you spend time.
There's not a lot of people here, but there's five of you.
Everyone thinks, how the am I gonna make $10 million? How am I gonna? I can't get a house because it's so expensive, and then they start thinking this is a part of the reason being too smart is no good, because you're way over analyzing this massive problem, because the more you think about anything, there's a billion problems with it. But if you just make it super simple, today I'm gonna work out and spend time with my own thoughts, you're in the right direction. So don't take it so the problem is huge, but just chip away one day at a time, and you don't even need to think about the end goal of having a house every day. Like, you have that initial thought and you're like, all right, now that's on the pinboard, and every day we're just gonna slowly work to better myself.
And what do you think holds most people back?
The idea that it's too big of a goal. So it's like, this just, everyone says I can't get a house because it's too expensive, and that's what they say. They didn't get a house because whatever. I'm not even, you know what, I'm just gonna get a regular job because it's not even worth trying. But I'm the perfect example of regular Joe with below average, not necessarily below average, but pretty average tools. Like, I'm not special by any means, and I found a reasonable amount of success. So if I can do it, why not you?
Here's what I'll say about you. You have two really great qualities about you. One is you don't overthink things, and whatever pops into your mind, you're just going to go and do it without doubting yourself. So I think that's really important. You had that. The other thing you have is that you picked, I think, the right lane at the right time for your personality, because you're really entertaining. Like, that first video you posted is so unbelievably good that it's just like you can't help but keep watching it, because every
You ever watch this? You ever watch this guy? He's kind of crazy.
Watch to expect you to like crash out at some point. They just want to see like, oh, what's he gonna do now? And you keep people on edge. You're really, really, really good on camera. Like, your hand movements and the way you speak, it's like, that's engaging. Like, it kept me up. I was driving late in the car, and your videos are getting me amped up at like 1 o'clock in the morning driving.
I didn't know I was good at YouTube. I didn't know I was good at making content until somebody one day said, oh, you're funny, you should make a YouTube video. I've never met once in my entire life like a person that's not good at it, like a useless person. Everyone is phenomenal at least one thing, but people just don't know what they're sitting on. Like, inherently you're gold. You just think you're a piece of shit because you're embarking on all of the wrong journeys, and then it's a negative spiral. You're going, like, the more you fail, the more you think you're a piece of shit. But you just need to try enough new things, and eventually you're gonna find that you're incredible. And that's what, like, I tell a lot of young people, like, you're not a loser, you're just not doing what you're meant to be. Everyone is top 1% at least one thing. Really, if you've ever worked a 40-hour week, that's not easy. Like, you know how to work really hard, but people don't give that credit to themselves, because, like, whatever, I only made $1,000 last week. You woke up at 5 a.m. every day. I couldn't do that. You outdid me, even though I have more money than you. Outdid me in hard work, you know? So everyone has something.
But what if they want to be rich? What if that's their goal? What's your advice to those people?
Don't try and be rich, because that's when you get lost in, you get too focused on the end goal. You will get rich if you become the best at what you love. For example, that dude that, what's the movie, the dude that climbs rocks?
Hey, man.
But I don't know, either way, no one would expect, I'm going to climb on this rock so good that I'm going to be a millionaire. That guy is a millionaire because he has a cool movie now, and he's like the best at climbing rocks. I guarantee you he never once was thinking, I'm going to climb on this rock for now. So you just have to be focused on your passion and become the best at it. And the money,
You know Wolfie Boy?
just like falls in your hands once you're doing something that you like.
Would you say that money has changed you at all, or that you're happier with money?
Like, once you get to, say, maybe 50K a month, then you can really do everything. And then the money beyond 50K a month doesn't have, like, I do not feel happier because I'm wearing $500,000 of jewelry. But I do feel happier that I have 50K a month, I can take my friends on vacation and my mother out to a nice dinner. That's where the money is valuable. As far as money,
Damn, these guys make
no, I always had a really big ego and knew where I was going. I just never talked about it because the proof of concept wasn't there. Nobody wants to hear somebody that's living in a frat basement and talk about, I'm going to be so rich, but then you guys have no idea. But now that I have the money, I feel more confident in talking about money because the proof of concept is there. There's credibility. So I don't think it's changed me at all.
That's crazy. These guys are just making 50K a month, like easy. Holy shit. That is wild.
You were gambling and like consistently winning. How were you able to do that? Was there a strategy behind this, or was it luck?
No, there's no such thing as strategy gambling. So how it works is the like RTP is like your expected loss, and you can look at different games. Like what's the best RTP? A lot of people will go in play blackjack and say, why do I lose every time? But if you're not playing perfect blackjack, the odds of you losing are like 80%. But if you play perfect blackjack, the RTP like over an extended period of time, you're expected to lose about 1 to 2% of your money. But over a short period of time, realistically, the strategy, which is not mathematically a good strategy, but I always just raise the bet until I win. So say I lose $20,000 on a blackjack hand, the next one just put down 30,000, and you lose, put down 50,000, put down 60,000, and either it ends in devastation, or you're good and you win. And so now you're sitting at like 90% chance that I win, and there's a 10% chance that I'm fully devastated, and the loss is so bad that there's a huge problem. So we're just gonna pray that doesn't happen. It's never happened. So yet. But now it's like now I got $4 million, and I'm definitely not paying no taxes, so I can
flee.
Yeah. No, Puerto Rico. Well, the idea is ideally I use this $4 million, make some investments, and then I won't have to gamble as much. Like I've already lowered how much we lose last night. I lost 20,000 last night.
How did you do that? Was that the strategy of doubling down?
No, I actually tried. I called a casino. I was like, I need more money.
This guy is a clown, but he actually is pretty entertaining.
I lost 20,000 last night. Well, it's like easy come, easy go. You know, like the most I ever made was 2 million something in 48 hours.
This is the greatest game we've ever done. This is already, I don't need you.
How would you rate your finances 1 to 10?
10, 100%. If you looked at a chart of my finances, it would be outperforming Warren Buffett. There's no saving.
You don't save at all.
I save in the sense of I spent $100,000 on this watch and I sell it for probably 80,000.
Now, what about the idea of saving and investing on the side?
What the f am I gonna do with $100 million when I'm 70 years old? I'm entering the danger.
Do you think you're addicted to gambling?
I don't think Gamblers Anonymous is ever seen a piece like me.
What? Yeah, I know your brother. He's a good little wolf. Let's see your flex.
Toby, thank you so much for coming on the Iced Coffee Hour. I have a question for you. Why do people call you the evil Samsung?
Well, dude, it's like he's just the exact opposite of me.
Talk like what?
Doesn't talk to nobody, but we're both jacked. We both love the gym. Like at our core, we're gym bros. But I also embark on. He's getting an engineering degree, and I'm getting a degree in like whatever. So it's the complete opposites, but we're both like two of the bigger fitness influencers.
I was researching for this podcast as I was driving from Vegas to LA, and I watched you for probably 8 hours. Like, no joke.
8 hours?
I started at your first video and made my way through.
Yeah.
Holy crap. First of all, they're good videos. They're really addicting. And it was interesting meeting you in person because I had this idea that you would come in like really over the top.
He was honestly horrified. He was like, how many people do you think he's gonna show up with? Do you think he's gonna break something when he comes to the house? I'm like, dude, I don't think he's gonna do any of that.
A lot of people think I got this whole like almost like a rock star persona because I got like these chains and this crazy lifestyle. But I'm the most regular kid ever. Just a college dude. I have 5 friends maybe, and I kind of like I don't do collabs. It's just me, and then live camera woman.
Well, we have a video that we wanted you to give your opinion on. We filmed with Greg Doucette recently.
Here we go. See this? Let me see it again.
If you could delete one influencer off the internet forever, who would it be?
Man, the worst one. I think we're gonna go with Toby.
Wait, why?
Because he's promoting gambling, recreational drugs, and he's almost created a paradigm shift in thinking that promoting and glorifying drugs is cool. This guy has a lot of power. He can go and meet people and people know who he is, and everyone
Yeah, dude, Greg don't mean that. He's just saying that to protect his brand. Greg loves token clips. I'm telling you guys, Greg Doucette loves that. Behind the scenes, Greg is a gambler. I don't know if he does drugs, but Greg parties, he gambles. This is exposing Greg Doucette right here. But a lot of people take on the internet with the idea of, I want to make a positive impact. I'm an influencer. Like, that's what I do, is I influence. And so everyone that posts on YouTube, you're just titled influencer, which is not what I am. I'm just an artist. Like, I entertainer, I make art, and they're just fun to watch. It's not like you watch my video and you're like, I should go take a bunch of trend. When I started doing social media, a lot of people fall into being a character. I can't talk about this because brand risk. I can't talk about that. But I never wanted to be a slave to my own persona. So just like, I'm just gonna do 100% authentic to myself, and then hopefully that catches enough attention to being myself. And then it's easy because I'm never filming a video and I'm like, I gotta do this. It's always like, this is exciting.
Were you always a wild?
Oh, your thighs are fine? I don't know, man. Are they?
Yeah, but everyone is. You know, that's why people like to watch my stuff. I feel like there's a huge percentage of college students that are just like me, and they can just really resonate with, like, oh yeah, like I also like really realistically, people call me like to my friend group because they'll go on a bender for 14 days. They'll drink twice as much as me, and I'm always like, nah, like I can't feel hungover, like I don't want to do that. To a lot of the older people, like Greg Doucette, it's like a kind of a newer culture, I guess, and they see that like, who's crazy, but it's normal. Everyone does like this.
So what age do you become old?
35. How old are you? 35.
You just turned 35.
I just
3
turned-
days ago, 2 days
But
ago.
you know,
I'm 35.
tell me that
Yeah.
they feel like they're in the prime, 30 to 40.
So what I really like is going slightly on topic. What about the 10 million challenge? Was to make $10 million. I believe 30 days initially. What was the craziest thing that you did for money?
The painting that I sold, did you see the painting?
Yeah, I did.
I had a feeling like that it was gonna sell for a reasonable amount of money. I ended up, I got $146,000 for it. That thing took me 8 hours, and it just like blew my mind. There was a ton of bits, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bits. That was definitely the most bizarre way of making money, but it was only 150K. The most profitable was oddly enough online slots, which odds-wise, like RTP, if you're gonna crunch numbers, that was like crazy lucky. Actually, when I started the road to 10 million, the joke was that I was planning on just losing like $5 million because that's usually how it goes. Gambling. But then first stream road to 10 million, I accidentally made like $1.5 million. I guess we might as well try to make 10 million now. The joke is ruined. It's also way cooler to make 10 million.
Well, why 10 million?
Well, did you have 5 million to lose?
No, it would have been dead.
You would have gone in debt.
Yeah, but it's cool, dude, because it's like the
How is
debt
it
to the
cool?
casino is no problem because it's like.
So you borrowed from
Yeah, I borrowed from Roulette and the casinos in Vegas.
So
Do
what
you know
was
what
the
the
rate
markers?
you borrow it at?
Well, since I work for Roulette, they give me 0% interest. That's why it's cool. It's
But
like,
you still
all right, I'll
owe
give
them.
5 million. It's like, all right, I'll get to it, guys.
You don't-
You know what I mean?
But you still owe them the money, even though it's
Yeah.
0% interest. So they're not forgiving this.
Welcome to Turo. What can I give you?
Yeah, hey, I've got a camping trip this weekend. Can I get a great
Oh, this guy gets paid by.
and a sunroof, please? Hey,
No. But it's cool.
how is that cool?
Because, dude, it's like,
It's a lot of money.
I'm 22 years old. I have a long time, and my income is like reasonably high for my age, so I have a long time to figure it out. I don't gotta lock in until I'm
35.
Until you're old.
What's about 35 minus 22? However many years that is, I got 13 years of just like been off, and then like 34 years old.
You'll be like, all right, I'm 20 million in debt.
Which is probably figured out. But that's why it's great, because then it's like, that's when the world gets really real. I'm 20 million in debt, which hopefully I'm not at that point. Then you gotta lock in like really hard, and that's the best way to do it. A lot of people say they were losers, unsuccessful until they had kids, because now you have something that you literally like. It's life or death. Basically, you have to be successful, and if you're in huge debt at that age, just like lock it in. I'm sure I'll figure it out. I've never not figured it out.
So you assumed you were just going to lose $5 million of money that you didn't have, but you ended up on the first stream making, you said $1.5 million gambling?
Yeah, I think at the time I had well, it's hard to evaluate my net worth at the time because like I have a Lamborghini, but it's like I paid whatever 300 something thousand for it. But how much is it really worth? I don't know. But I think my like roughly my net worth was probably like $600,000 at that time. But my income was reasonably high, so that's why I'm comfortable losing.
That first stream you said you made $1.5 million. That was from slots, and and stuff. So like after this year,
Yeah.
you are now worth 2.1 million, probably approximately.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you decided you're actually going to go for $10 million instead of it being like a gag of financially.
Yeah,
liberating yourself.
well, I didn't know what I was on, but I thought I was gonna make $25 million in 30 days. Dead, like, to my soul, my core. Like, I was sitting there, I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I guarantee I'm gonna do it. I would have put it on. I was gonna do it 100%. And then
Can I have to light and play one? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
It's impossible, but that's the great part about it is like, if you are truly crazy enough to think that you can do some, like, just maybe can I do something crazy if I just try, and you really think it's gonna happen, and you go for it, you're gonna get pretty close. Like the end of the road to 10 million, I ended up like with like 4 something million. But if I was a little smarter, I would have never. I would have 10 million in a month. That's just never gonna happen. I'm not gonna try. And then I would have zero amount of millions of dollars. So that's really the beautiful thing about like the crazy delusions.
So you actually ended up making $4 million in a month.
No, it's 2 months.
So $2 million a month for 2 months.
Yeah.
Did that motivate you then to like continue that?
No, because I'm like 40 days in. I got like I hadn't posted a video in forever. The sponsors getting mad that I'm not posting content, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, this is great that I have $4 million, but also like realistically, I'm not a total. Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking, if I lose this $4 million, then the video is back to zero, and then there's no video at all, and it's gonna be a huge problem. So I stopped gambling around $4 million and embarking on less risky schemes, like the painting. I'm making a song. I wanted that to come out before the end of the video, so that way I could show people how much I made from the song. Logistically, it's a lot harder to put on a song than you would imagine. And then I bought a house, but we can't really tell if that's going to be a good investment for a long time. So it's like, we'll probably count that for a few $1 million.
But what does your accountant think of all of this? Because I'm thinking through, it's like the gambling.
What's your count for? Flex on him. They're worried about it. What his account thinks makes $4 million. It's like, Jesus. Shut up. Why do I talk like what? Am I a good kisser? Do you really care? Do you really care, Charlie Ward?
That's got to be an impossible task to calculate wins and losses. And you wiring money for Rolexes and they turn out to be fake. All of these
But
things.
that one was crypto, so that one's cool. You didn't have to ever like. I think my understanding, I thought my videos were enough financial proof to the IRS that like, okay, yeah, this is like what's going on. But then my accountant's like, dude, we need like, what is this deposit for $500,000? And I'm just like, I don't really remember. To be honest with you, like a lot of things I do, I don't really know, and I didn't know. I'm just learning now. He called me the other day, and he's like, the business cards are for business expenses. I just whatever account, I pull out a random card. Like did last night at the casino, used a business card, took out like $10,000 just because pick a random card. So he is super unhappy with me. I have not paid my taxes yet because I texted him because it was due the 15th, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, like, how much money do I owe? And he was like, it's ridiculous. We're still working on it.
It's because if you made $4 million in a year, you probably owe like half of that. Maybe a little less because you're in Florida. Hopefully not.
You'll owe about 37 to 40% of that to.
I cannot swing that. You guys are gonna have to give me some sneaky rich people tips because I can't pay 40%. I'll be out of money.
Maybe. I mean, we could strategize.
Financial crisis. If I gotta pay 40% of my money.
How are you
We
planning?
could strategize later.
But you did.
Here's
Here's the thing.
You made the $4 million this year, right? So
Okay.
you have a full year to offset your income with
Well, that's what I was
expenses.
thinking.
Yeah. You're gonna owe this next year. You're gonna have a $2 million tax bill so far, unless you lose the money, in which case you're gonna use those losses to offset the $4 million profit. But you would then be still net down money.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something else. That's not either of those options because that's ridiculous. 50% of your money.
Basically.
You give 50% of your money to IRS.
I pay 37 plus another 1 to 2% give or take for random things.
But we're also in Nevada, 0% state income tax here. So if you were in California, it'd be okay.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. We'll have to do. Well, but that's not really a problem for another. It's a what, like 12, 13 months.
Yeah, you could stretch it. Now I'm curious though because you were gambling and like consistently winning. How were you able to do that? Was there a strategy?
Yeah, move to Florida.
No, there's no such thing as strategy. So how it works
All right, we already watched this.
You're expected to lose about 1 to 2% of your money. But over a short period of time,
The strategy of doubling down.
no, I actually tried. I called a casino. I was like, give me more money. It's not fun. No, I $200,000.
So you have 3.8.
Yes, no, I got 3 money.
So that decreases your tax bill. That's good.
What does $200,000 mean to you? To me, it's nuts to lose $200,000 and be like, oh, it's 200 grand, whatever.
Well, it's like easy come, easy go. You know, like the most I ever made was this video. I lost everything, 2 million something in 48 hours, just gambling and meme coins. If you can do that, if you're willing to take enough risk where $2 million is on the table whatsoever, you got to be cool losing 200,000. And also, it's like, what is money really good for? You have security and experiences. And the security, you can feel fully secure. You can do anything you want. 70K a month, and you can do anything in the world. Everything, unlimited doctor bills, whatever, this and that, insurance, and everything you need. So after 70K a month, it's like, this money I might as well just, like, it's, I don't see any value in saving. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do with $100 million when I'm 70 years old? There's 70-year-olds in a
Absolutely ball out. Or
22-year-old.
give it away to Jordan Hudson.
Super exciting, super fun. The ROI is way higher blowing your money as a 22-year-old than when you're old. So I kind of after my main base expenses, all that money is just like whatever.
Now, what about the idea of saving and investing on the side? Building up a nest egg that would eventually pay you the $70,000 a month without
Oh
you
yeah, I
having
got
to work.
you heard of Pepe, the cryptocurrency?
I have, yeah.
That's my investment portfolio.
How much Pepe do you have?
You know, when you really crunch numbers, sometimes I look back on like a stream the other week, I lost $1.8 million. So really,
So you're down to 2 million.
yeah, which is we're chipping away the taxes. But either way, that was a majority. I had like 1 point something million Pepe.
He was lying to. This is the worst I've ever seen it. This is a place where people are so angry, so frustrated, so fearful because the game has changed. We got this inflation that's massive. We got people afraid AI is going to take away their job. And also the story we were told, that's the lie that makes me so mad. You're supposed to work hard, go to school, get a degree, go to work for a big company.
And then I get,
Has Pepe gone up since then?
I don't know, I don't look because it makes me depressed. I gotta figure out, I gotta gamble and get some more Pepe. Oh no, this is about the same. So we'll get back in there.
Wait, so
The Pepe coin.
you're actually at 2 million right now.
I guess if you crunch numbers, about $2 million because that $1.8 million loss was ass.
How did you lose 1.8 million?
Like a loss. Dude, oh my god. What happened was I didn't even want to stream because it's working, well, which is technically streaming. But I was doing like editing my video and whatnot. It's like, all right, whatever. I'm supposed to get some hours in. I'm gonna do a $50,000 buy-in, super mellow stream. But then once you start taking stimulants, it's like game over. The second you take any amount of stimulants, it's literally impossible to stop gambling. So one thing leads to another. It was supposed to be a 30-minute stream, it was 15 hours, and I lost $1.8 million. It's on my cake. I'm gonna put that in the next YouTube video.
Why would you? I know this is like an obvious question, but is it easier then just to say no to the stimulants than it is to say no to the gambling if you're on stimulants?
No.
So it's a recipe for disaster. It's just like
Yeah, but it's awesome because like, gambling at a certain point, it's not even fun if you're not on stimulants. Like if you're not somewhat inebriated, it's almost too stressful. You can't see the cards right. Like you can't make daring enough plays to do crazy shit where you actually win. Because dude, people will win 30% gambling. I'll be like, well, that was kind of sucks. Like, because you're gambling, you're total. It's like if you're inebriated, then you can go nuts. It's way more fun. That's the purest form of gambling.
See, I would say, like, I would try to provide solutions. Like, you have someone that has control over your money, and you can't request money from them. You can't try to borrow money from friends. You like put out this mass message. But also, if it doesn't bother you, like, if you're totally fine losing $2 million and you're like fully conscious of, you know, what you're doing, then there's no.
It's really not a problem. Like because I have this safety net of I'm still getting this somewhat passive income of just by having my own brand and all the sponsors pay me whatever. I could lose my whole network today. It's like at least I got. Dude, 1 year ago I lived in a frat basement free because I didn't have any money to pay for it, and I was so happy. It was so much fun. I loved that. Like this chain really bring me like I'm not any happier with the chain. I think if I had nothing, that's like also I'm in my bag when I have nothing. I feel fully content being poor.
How would you rate your finances 1 to 10?
10, 100%. I mean, who else has ever made? Not whoever, but regular college kid front basement to now, I have millions of dollars. And if you looked at a chart of my finances, it would be outperforming Warren Buffett, it would be outperforming, that's the only dude I know that does finances. But either way outperforming Warren Buffett as far as the ROI in the time that I'm doing.
Now, where does savings fit into all of this? Why don't you just put on the side?
So I gambled it away. There's no saving.
You don't save at all.
I save in the sense of I spent $100,000 on this watch and I sell it for probably $80,000. That's a safety.
That's the I always. No, it's not terrible.
But this is the big thing. I like anything
Not-
than gambling, right? So if I just have crypto or have money, then there's a problem because it takes me 5 seconds to get that money, put on one blackjack hand. If I so every month I just try and spend like a few $100,000 on jewelry and cars, and then that way I have
And your house.
assets in my house.
Did you?
Which I pretty much
that
got off bullied. No, I put 700 down,
30%.
borrowed 1.3 million. I got bullied into buying the house. I texted my friend, the jeweler, and I was like, I need this new car. It's like $300,000 car. And he's like, dude, you have spent $2 million in the last year on jewelry cars, and you have no houses. Like, I'm not selling you anything until you buy a house. Well, if I would keep buying my jewelry and cars, I gotta buy this house. So he's a good friend for that.
If you've ever wondered how we keep the Iced Coffee Hour running so smoothly, from keeping on track of deadlines, lining up sponsors, and guest outreach, it's with our sponsor, Notion. We've basically built up a brain within it over the last few years, and that's why we were incredibly excited when they reached out to sponsor our episode, because
He's also streaming for 15 hours. That sounds like a great job, by the way. Probably has so many people on his live streams too. See, I need to start live streaming on different channels. I do YouTube and TikTok. It's not enough. For 15 hours. I might do this for an hour. 15 hours. That's crazy. I guess I could do that when I was 22 as well. I can't do that. 15 hours, I'd be up all night. Jesus Christ. I have to wake up in the morning, watch the kids. 15 hours. Bananas. What's up, big dogs? How you kitty cats doing? Construction scheduler. Yeah. I need to get someone to help with my taxes. I'm sick of doing them. Taxes suck. Political news.
We're genuinely a huge fan, and we use it all the time. Notion is the ultimate
Yes.
all-in-one workspace that works for anyone, whether you're a student balancing classes, someone growing a business, or just trying to get your day-to-day life in order. Notion lets you organize things your way. Plus, it's incredibly customizable, so you can build whatever system that works best for you. You could create to-do lists, set up a calendar, track your workouts or meals. Seriously, the options are endless. What I love most about it is the design. It's minimal,
Wait for a good day to have,
makes
you
you
know,
feel calm, and then everything's
wait around,
If
walk
you've
some
been thinking
gas,
about getting
what?
organized,
I just sit out here.
Oh, my home's gonna die. Yeah.
Seriously, guys, we've been using them for years.
Gonna be a good day.
The link down below in the
Oh,
description. If
my.
you guys just want to try it out, I highly recommend it. It's a game changer.
What time is
Thank
it?
you so much to Notion for sponsoring this episode. But before we go into that, I'm sure you guys all remember the absolutely monumental moment for this podcast. We had Jordan Peterson on last year, and on top of that just being an incredible episode, it was a huge moment for me personally. I've been a fan of him for years, and I'm extremely excited to announce we are actually partnering with Peterson Academy to sponsor this episode. For those unaware, Peterson Academy is Jordan Peterson's online university, and it's ready for enrollment right now. If you love learning, want to study under world-class professors, or have ever gained anything from Dr. Peterson's books, lectures, or podcasts, then this platform is for you. Every month, Peterson Academy releases 4 new, in-depth, 8-hour university-level courses taught by top experts across philosophy, history, psychology, science, business, and more. And guys, these courses are incredible. They're designed to keep you engaged, and they offer optional testing to solidify your understanding. Plus, there's also an online community where you can connect with other curious and ambitious learners. And it gets even better because Peterson Academy is getting funding, and they've dropped the price from $599 down to $399 for the entire year, with access to more than 40 courses, with 4 new ones being added every single month. And with a 7-day money-back guarantee, there's no reason not to try it. Just go to petersonacademy.com/ICH. Again, that is petersonacademy.com/ICH. There's also a link down below in the description. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Seriously, Peterson Academy, Jordan Peterson, thank you guys so much.
Imagine if the day after you purchased a home, its value dropped by 20% and continued to drop every single day. You would never make that investment. Yet that's exactly what happens when you buy a car. The moment you drop it off the lot, it loses 20% of its value and continues to lose value every day. Not to mention,
Oh, no.
insurance.
Nindo, show the big one.
They've had no other option.
The
Until now. Flex cars completely reimagined
Black Book of Riches. This is a real book. This is a made-up book.
when you want. Cruise in a Jeep for the summer, switch to an SUV for the winter, or stick with your favorite ride for years. The choice is yours. And the best part, it costs less than a monthly car loan. No down payment, no debt, no
No,
monthly
it's a real book.
just the newest cars and the latest technology, with maintenance and insurance included. That's the freedom of Flex Car, the world's first month-to-month car lease. Once you flex, you'll never buy a car again.
Black Christopher Wallace.
Want to keep your hairline where it is? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options that work best for you, so you can grow visibly thicker and fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. Keep it looking strong for years to come with doctor-trusted ingredients like finasteride, minoxidil, and a blend of supplements that support healthy hair. 3 in 4 Hims customers say they wish they started using hair treatment earlier. Get ahead now to keep the hair you love. Get started today at Hims.com.
Hims.com. Is that what I need?
Back to the episode. Social media as a career can be so fickle. I mean, we saw what happened with Steve with Do It. It just one day, just YouTube decided to delete him. And these algorithms are not guaranteed. Do you ever worry about maybe one day just something happens outside of your control and everything kind of gets shut off?
Oh yeah, dude, but I'm ready for it. Like, I'm more than excited to, or more than willing to take on any challenge. And if I lost all my social media, it would be on. I'd hit the scheme lab, and then it's on to the next thing. I would let myself complain for 7 days. Probably just do nothing for 7 days and depressed. Never happened. Now I'm back. Now I got nothing, and now we're gonna have to do it. time and time again, when I was 18 years old, I made like $900,000 trading crypto, like super high leverage. And then I thought I was the man. I thought I was the coolest kid ever. Started partying, was buying like cars whenever traveling. 6 months later, I was in debt to the IRS for taxes because it turns out vacation in Italy doesn't count as a tax write-off. So it's like I got this income from crypto, still gotta pay taxes, which is ridiculous. For the record, I can't believe that's how that works. But after that, it was like, whatever. We gotta find the next game. I was like, okay, now I'm just gonna get famous and make money that way.
How do you have such confidence? It's just like you seem so self-assured that no matter what's gonna happen, you're gonna be fine.
There's so many people that have more than me that are inherently less capable. Like I've met so many people that are just idiots, but they have so much money. I've met like CEOs. So what the f are you talking about right now? None of this. You are so out of the loop. But you've got $5 million. So if you can do it, there's no reason that anyone else on the planet couldn't do it.
So comparison is good.
How do you mean?
Because a lot of people say like comparison is the thief of joy, but you use comparison in a good way.
Sometimes the grass is green on the other side because it's fake, right? You have to take everything you see with a grain of salt. Like, a good example is that Haley Welch girl, Haktua. Everyone's jealous. But why is Haktua famous? How'd she get famous? She's rich and famous. She's rich and famous. That's bullshit. That she's rich and famous, and I'm not. She got too famous too fast for her own. She was famous on borrowed effort. She didn't have the trials to prepare her for the success that she had, which is unfortunate. Her empire was given to her, and she didn't ask for that. 2 months later, she does a cryptocurrency scam, which was probably not her fault. She probably had no idea what was going on. She was just like, some rich people were like, yo, come this way, do this, do that. And then now all of a sudden her empire has entirely fallen. Everybody would take their life over Haktua's life now because she's got all this bullshit legal shit going on. But 2 months ago, it's like, this is so sick. I want to be Haktua.
Yeah.
She's so lucky.
I think it's bad management. To me, it seems like someone put that deal in front of her and told her to take it, and she's not sophisticated enough to say no to it. Or maybe on the surface, it appeared like, hey, this is a fun little thing we could do. It's a meme coin. It's funny. But behind the scenes, she has no idea what's going on.
Well, that's the problem, is because she was too famous too fast. And like, how do you even know to when to pick a manager when you fall asleep one night, next day you got 10 million followers? How do you even set up that entire, like, I'm still figuring shit out, like how to manage deals and go about, like, what's a red flag, what should I take money for ads-wise and whatnot. And I've been doing it 15 months, maybe, I don't know, a year. In that short of time, you can never prepare yourself for what you have.
How is your business broken down right now in terms of like where income sources come in? How many people do you have behind the scenes that help you out?
I got one Indian. His name is Sarthak. He's the GOAT, Togi Real. Togi Real is the coolest dude ever. He's the hardest working Indian ever. He does everything for me, other than me. So the reason it takes me so long to put my videos out is because I plan everything, I edit everything.
Jeez. Gonna have a good day. Oh my. Chris Carter. Buddy Hield goes off, and the Rockets and the Warriors win.
Last shot of the first quarter, it's in.
Hey!
Draymond, the decision maker. Buddy Hield open three. Got it. Buddy's got 25. Step with a 17-point second half. Buddy Hield, a night for the ages. He's got 28. Yeah, he's a beast.
Good. Good. Oh my homie don't die today. Who? Oh, I don't care. I don't know and I don't care. You know what I mean? Hilarious. New edition. Huh. Ugh. Yeah, it's fake. Fake. Full view. Oh, my homies. See, imagine if I did 15 hours. Holy shit. So we're about 52 minutes in. We got 2 new followers on TikTok. I don't know if the guy does it all the time. 1 second, I'll be back. What's up, Togi? You know Togi?
Everything, I film everything. I'm a one-man army, and I do 100% of the work, except for like whatever my Indian dude can take care of. So the expenses wise, there it's like I keep. That's what it's cool because I get to keep 100% creative power, 100% of my money, and there's just like no one can fool me. It's just shot on my naval destiny.
And then what about income sources coming in?
I got Rube, Young LA, Kick, Snapchat.
Is Snapchat pretty good?
They pay me like $30K a month, so it's like it's chill. Like for what it is, you don't have to work too hard on it. There's gotta be something else. You know, I only got 4 words. Oh, and then technically the most profitable thing that I do is gambling, but the safety net, like the real income, is those 4 sponsors.
Do you have any financial regrets at all, or are you totally fine with all of the decisions?
If I could have stopped myself from playing those Plinko balls, last week, I would have done that. But as far as like genuine regret, nothing off the top of my head.
Tell me about the watches. The fake watches that you bought.
Oh yeah. So okay, I'm not like so far out of the loop where I see this guy on the internet and he's selling like whatever. He's like 4 Rolexes. One of them is a Daytona. Like these are expensive watches. But there was at least 40% of me that was like, this is a scam. 100%. This is totally a scam. And then 60% of me was like, it could be a really screaming hot deal. And so my idea is everything in my life that I do, as long as it's on camera, I'm willing to take more risks because it's a little bit funnier. It's a little bit more crazy. So when the camera's on, I'll gamble twice as much. When the camera's on, I'm like, okay, we're gonna buy these watches in case it's a screaming hot deal. And if it's a scam, then it's like, okay, well, then at the very least, people get to laugh at my pain.
And so what happened for those who haven't seen it?
So I'm looking on Reddit for the cheapest possible deal on some Rolexes, like the Rolex Reddit or whatever. And this guy had 4 Rolexes, maybe 5, on sale for like $80,000, and I sent him crypto, and then he sent me 4 fake watches.
Were they good fakes? What did you do with the watches afterwards?
Dude, they were incredible fakes. I went to the jeweler.
Yeah.
They had to open up, look inside the guts to see that the movement was fake. Like the outside, they're like, I mean, it looks like they use these crazy lasers and shit now, especially with like, I guess Rolexes are really easy to fake.
Yeah.
To be saying. So after, I think the watches are just at my crib.
Really?
Yeah.
Give them away.
Yeah, but then people are gonna be like, well, I got this Rolex, it's fake. But it's also cool because it's like I like to keep that was a part of one of my, yeah, it's like that was a fun little memory getting scammed, and it's like a cool video. So like things that I do over my videos, I like to keep hold of most of the stuff that was involved in all of it.
At what point do you think you're gonna want to have like a nest egg?
Like what, my savings?
Yeah, because
I've never thought about that in my life. Like, I guess I'll think about it right now. It would be cool to have a nest egg right now, but like then I have to embark on
How much do you want as a nest egg?
how much should I have? I don't know. I mean, how realistically, my goal in life is to have $100 million net worth. So nest egg would be like what percentage? Like you have $10 million saved somewhere in like S&P or something.
The fastest growing snack category in the United States is meat sticks. But what usually happens when a product gains popularity is that companies cut
What counts as a nest egg?
Probably.
I think
a nest egg would just be like if you're making, let's just random number here, like 300 grand a month. Or 400. How much would your life differ spending 400 grand a month to spending 200 grand a month, and you get to stow away 200 grand a month?
Oh, okay.
Like, and then you have this $200,000 that is untouched, and it just rests in like equities or something that's conservatively grows year over year, and you at least know that like you'll never be broke again.
Oh, probably once I have more responsibilities, whenever that comes. Like, at what point in your life were you all of a sudden like you got a whole bunch of, I don't know. I guess now I got this mortgage. That's pretty adult. I never had a mortgage before. I got to pay $13,000 a month, but probably not till like 25, right?
For me, I mean, ever since I was like young, like obviously as I've like my income has grown, I've become totally fine spending more money on certain things. But I think it was originally kind of about freedom. Like I wanted to make sure that I don't have to work if I don't want to. Like I have some money that I could make some passive income off of, and I'll exist fine.
Yeah, so it's like, what's the fun in that? What would you do if you didn't work? Like having to work
whatever
is
you
not
want.
a bad
It's having the option.
It's the best option, dude, because it's like what, like it's. I would be if I wasn't continuously. That's why I say I'm not sure if 100 million is the number, because I get 100 million, I'm not gonna just stop working and off, because then what do you do? Like if I'm not every day or like every month making forward progress in whatever scheme I'm currently working on, I would be depressed. If I sit there for 7 days straight and I don't do anything, I start getting super depressed. It's just like, what is going on here? Without productivity and something pushing you and pulling you to strive for more, I think I would be super bored.
Here's what I would do. If I were you, I'd get $5 million on the side, stashed away in investments that you never touch unless you absolutely need to. That is your fund that no matter what happens to you, you'll always have an income between 250 to 300 grand a year, no matter what. You could do whatever you want to, and you're always going to have
it. Cool just with $5 million. You
but,
could
yeah, but
go
just
on
get that.
the memories, like bro.
But just put that, and then you could think of the Plinko. But you just get 5 million, and then everything after that, you could blow.
I think the thing is that he just has it's so funny because we're so in tune with like the business and hardcore finance and like grind and like save. That's kind of our niche on YouTube. But you're completely like on the polar opposite side. So for us, it's just kind of like jarring. And it's interesting to hear. Like
we go back and forth on Airbnbs for like $100 difference.
But like I have to understand. Like we have to understand that you just have different priorities, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think also a big thing is like age. Well, like realistically, imagine how much cooler or how epic it would be if you blew $1 million on a crazy vacation, crazy bed with your friends. Everyone, you and your friends will remember that forever. You give your mom $1 million. That's like, boom, retire mom. And then just like I would like to just give away $1 million to strangers on the street, because that's like, it fills my heart with joy and it's fun. Rather than like saving it, making 300K a year, guaranteed. Like that doesn't sound interesting to me.
Just a safety net.
But like safety inherently does not sound interesting to me. It's very boring if things are too nice. Like almost, that's why gambling is so exciting, is all gamblers to a certain degree love the self-sabotage, where that was devastating and horrible, but that's why it's awesome. Because you could potentially, like my friend last night literally lost his net worth, but he left today with a smile on his face. His name is Nate Udi. He walked out of the casino with a smile on his face. He's actually done this twice now, which is bizarre. I've done it once.
How much was his net worth?
So the first time we lost his net worth was on stream, and no one thought it was real, which is why, because everyone's like, oh my god, I'm giving my net worth, like this is so like crazy. This was like, he had $250,000, we lost it on one stream, and then he went home and he's completely out of money. This time around, his net worth was only $10,000. So he took his last $10,000 and it was like, I'm either poor already, I'm poor now, what do you do with $10,000? Or I can be super poor. So he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get what he lost it, and I was like, whatever.
Doesn't this fuck with your dopamine receptors to like, because you have such crazy swings with money and just highs and lows. Everything would seem boring after something like that.
Yeah, it is not good how rapidly the dopamine gets fried. Like 3 months ago, my net worth was like, whatever, I had good money. And I was very excited over winning $10,000. Now I'll win $50,000 and it's just like, that wasn't that cool. But that's just because the dopamine gets fried. But that's a problem I don't know what to do about.
I think it's only going to get worse because pretty soon you'll say the same thing.
Well, everything is just
grand is like
more extreme. Well, I've seen that with Dana White. He used to be excited winning, and he's a billionaire. The money doesn't matter, but he used to be excited to win $50,000. The last time I gave him with him, he lost $5 million, and 8-month period of change have gone from plus 50,000, minus 50,000 to now plus 5 million, minus 5 million. And that's just how it is. Like, I don't know what to do about it.
One of the highlights was Jack and I got to meet Steve Will Do It, and we went to Red Rock, and Dana showed up, and I watched them play Baccarat, and I was entranced by
Isn't it crazy?
He was playing $100,000 chips, just like they're nothing, and just like I was 100 grand.
Yeah.
He was up. He was making money. Like he was up like 300 grand, 400 grand by the time we left. I'm thinking, holy shit, $400,000 in like 15 minutes. But it's just like, yeah, it's chips.
Yeah, it is crazy how a $5 chip is the same size as a $25,000 chip. It's really cool to
And
watch.
it screws my mind knowing that that's the $100,000 plus or minus. But the person on the other end of it dealing, they're probably making 80 grand a year. So one of those chips is worth more than an entire year of salary, and it's gone in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, and for the viewers, but that's why it's so exciting to watch somebody gamble such high stakes, because it's like I can't even fathom when I didn't have any money, I would watch people gamble. What is going on? This is insanity, and that's just part of entertainment. Like, the crazier is more viewable. What you got? What's this thing right here?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you asked. This is Magic Mind. So they sent us these about 6 months ago, and I tried them. It's like this little energy performance mental clarity shot. They're delicious. I'll give you a few to take with you, but I started drinking these before podcasts, and they were incredible. And then they reached out and they said, "Hey, could we sponsor your podcast?" I said, "Absolutely." I genuinely like the product. We take them with us every time we travel, and they fit in my backpack, and they go through TSA because they're below that liquid limit. And I sometimes have these instead of coffees. So it's like a little bit of caffeine, but it's not enough to keep you like wired or anything like that. So I really like this. So if you guys are interested, there is a link down below in the description. You can get some for yourself. What's the most that you've gambled and the most you've seen someone gamble?
The most that I personally gambled, like over what period of time? Probably this road to 10 million thing. I mean, the most I've ever hit was 1 million on a slot. It was like $1,000 spin. Big bass Christmas bonanza, and I paid out $1 million. So that stream I bought in I think 400,000, and I went up to 2 million, cashed out at 1.5 million. But the most I've ever seen someone gamble, I think probably, do you guys know who Exposed is?
No.
He pretty consistently goes to Red Rock and does like $100,000+ hands, but the limits are pretty stiff. Like, you don't really get to bet more than 300,000 a hand at any casino. As far as I've been led into, I'm sure somewhere people do that, but like probably like $300,000 hands is the most that people like, and it's like the Dana White Exposed.
Yeah.
Like nobody does.
What does it feel like to win $1 million?
Oh well, this is at the time I was doing so much that I don't actually remember it. I just had to watch a video back. I was like, holy shit! It was that's why it's in it. That video went so viral because it's such a captivating story. I was doing so many trips at that period of my life that I was in Mexico doing a ton of things, and the night before I had lost maybe like 900,000. I don't remember it. And then when you're like taking on a bender, you wake up next day and you just roll over. You take a pill. Like you roll over, grab some, put them in your body so that you like feel better, and you continue the bender. Effectively, I went into the stream, won $1 million. The next day, I invested it into Pepe. Pepe got listed on Robinhood, doubled. And then about 4 days later, I checked my accounts, and $2 million was just like there. I had to go look back at all the footage. This is what piece it together. This is what happened. That's why it takes so long for me to edit my videos. I was recording more because I don't know what the happened. So I have to meticulously go through every hour of that 10-hour stream. Like, where did this million come from? And then you look at, okay, so now it's all of a sudden 2 million. What happened there? You look at your crypto transactions. Okay, so we put it all into Pepe, and then you can kind of put the pieces of the story together. But it is kind of sad that like a lot of the coolest things, like some people ask me like, what's a crazy story? And it's like I do not remember a lot of the things that have happened to me in the last year, which is why I stopped doing Xanax, because it's just you don't remember like so much cool.
Oh no!
Lockdown on Xanax.
What's the craziest that you've taken?
Well, it depends on like what you define as crazy. I've done probably every. Well, I did on accident one time, and then I had to go to the hospital because I overdosed. So that was like the craziest experience. But I mean, I've never injected anything other than steroids. I think every single drug that's popular.
But what's the best?
It makes drug. I mean, pain's good. What else is good? Those are the best. Xanax, Adderall, ketamine, Percocets. Oh my god, Percocets are great. But understand that you feel the best on the fallout from taking Percocets for a few days. Like you are in a very bad spot mentally and physically. So the better it feels, the worse it is. It's not like I'm telling you guys, oh, they're the best, as in they feel the nicest. But the come down is equivalently as bad.
Do you worry about doing damage, like something permanent, like changes?
I would be worried, but that's just like all of my friends and everybody. It's like a consistent experience that everyone does these that I know, and it's like, okay, so if all 500 of you people are doing the exact same thing as me, and like as far as I'm concerned, only 4 of you are dumb. It's like I guess we're rolling those dice.
So that's dice rolling, just like
Well,
any
I mean,
other
the proof of
risk.
concept is there. Like I started doing, I'd say maybe I was like 14 years old, so like a lot. That's what 8 years, and I'm sure I do. Part of me thinks I would be a lot smarter if I wasn't doing that. but I'm not. I like being ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. Like being delusionally confident, that's great. I think maybe the drugs banged my brain out just perfectly enough so that I'm not too smart for my own good. I think a lot of people are too smart for their own good, and then it's like, oh, I got this business idea, but then you're like really smart and you're thinking about all the numbers and everything's how that's never gonna work, and then you never do it. Like if you just don't think about stuff, like I don't think about many things at all ever. Like every day I probably have like 6 like useful thoughts, and then the rest of it's just kind of like.
Give me an example of a useful thought you had today.
Oh, no, today was bad because I went to bed at noon, and that's why I had to push this podcast back. Usually before a podcast, I scheme like a few useful thoughts.
Okay.
Today there has been 0 useful thoughts. I can't remember the last useful thought that I had. Actually, let me think about this. This is ridiculous, but this is useful thought. I thought like it feels like the last good thing that I thought was I'm gonna sell this painting, which was about 4 weeks ago. So that can't be the case. Maybe I thought of I thought I should read more books about 4 days ago.
Do you think you're gonna do that?
Yeah, I like audiobooks.
Who bought the painting?
Just some random fan. We talked on the phone for a little bit, and his story is that he was in not the best place mentally, and then he started watching my content and listening to some of the speeches that I would give, and he started taking testosterone, and his hormones are now level, and his income has, obviously, exploded. So it's so meaningful to him. It's not like he was more really excited to support my journey because what I've given to him. He didn't care for the art. He just was like, Togi changed my life, and now I want to just be a part of his journey.
How do you get the money? It's a lot of 150 grand is a lot to spend on.
How did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't ask. I didn't.
You weren't curious?
Well, I guess when 150K doesn't sound like that much to me. I guess like, what anyone can have 150 that you could.
Yeah, but to spend on a discretionary painting.
Yeah, that's
from
fair. But I
something
mean,
that
I've spent like okay. An example is I spent. Steve will do it. One of my good friends. He was losing a ton of money gambling, and he was in a bad mood. At the time, I had maybe my net worth was around $500,000. Like cash wise, I probably had $100,000. But I sold a bunch of my jewelry, and I used my last $100,000 for him to buy him a richer milk because he's just such a good friend. He's in a horrible mood. I was like, this will cheer him up. Nobody gives Steve anything. So the point being is that it's not abnormal in my head that somebody would spend an excessive amount of money to give back to somebody that means a lot to them.
we're in such a different, like 150 grand.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
look, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I just have to accept that different people have different priorities, which is, it's cool. It's cool to hear about. I'm curious because you took an IQ test and you said that you were like clinically dumb.
No, dude, that's
Or
okay.
statistically-
That IQ test was right after I got back from Cabo, so I was coming off of a ton of drugs. I think that actually might have been right after I won the. It's very hazy, but the point being is, I remember sitting down at the computer and looking at the wall, and you know when you look at the wall and like everything's just like fuzz, you have no thought, you're just like,
Brain fog, yeah.
It was the worst brain fog I've experienced in a long time, so I knew it was not going to be the best. I think I could do way better if I retook that IQ test.
I mean, I agree. I think for the bit, it's funny. But I mean, you're obviously smarter than the average person. Like you can't, I feel like, do what you've done. And also it's interesting because you have these random, like really well thought out epiphanies. And I don't know if you're coming up with them off the cuff or if it's something that you
You don't
thought
really
about
agree
before.
with that.
Like you're like, yeah, people say the grass is always greener on the other side, but what if it's artificial grass? It's like, gee, like how did you come up with that so quickly? Like that would be the last maybe good thought or useful.
Oh,
you know?
good thought. That is, I don't know why I
You
said
have
that.
these like small little epiphanies that you come up with that are like really, you know.
You said something great also about like becoming successful, limiting beliefs, and having the conviction that you could do something. Like there are
Most
always
people think too much for their own good.
yeah, there are
That's
these nuggets of just
Yeah,
But is that
great
really like
information.
conceptually? That's not that difficult. Like understanding like
No,
a logarithm,
conceptually that like people
math.
I don't think would come up with something like that. Like that takes like a different level of like metacognition. You're like thinking about thinking.
I spend a lot of time like consciously thinking. Like I'll try and I'm worse about it now, but I used to spend like 15 minutes a day and I would stare at a wall and then just think and you don't have to force thoughts. Like everybody has incredible thoughts in their brain, but they're too distracted because they're scrolling. They're too afraid to let their thoughts happen. And then a lot of people try to think for a couple minutes and like, it's not working. I'm gonna go over it. But if you sit there and just stare at your watch for 5 minutes, you all of a sudden you go, oh, I never realized that about the watch. It just comes to you. It's very natural for humans to think, but in today's society, all the that like makes you obsessed with dopamine or whatever makes it hard to think. But if you spend even 5, 10, 15 minutes a day thinking, I guess I've elevated above what a lot of people. And I don't think my brain processes nearly as fast as like, what's that? The definition of a genius is someone that can process information a lot faster than whatever the average person. But it only takes 15 minutes of like my slow CPU churning to come up with whatever these ideas that I speak.
So what's your advice to young people who feel like just the price of everything's going up, opportunities are hard to come by, and they want to be successful?
It's not that you want to be successful, it's that you have to be successful. Every day you, okay, I'll put it this way. When you end your life, you're either living your fears or your dreams. And the fears being you never reached your fullest potential, you never took care of your kids, you never retired your mother, you never treated your friends right with everything that they deserve. And then your dreams is whatever your dreams might be. And every single day the sun comes up, and that's a day that you're either watching Rick and Morty, smoking, which is feeding your fears, or every day you're headed towards your dreams. So there's no, I want to be successful. You have to, and all you can do is that day make sure that you're on the side of the dreams. It might not feel like you're making that much progress, but if you go to the gym that day, you get your meals in, and you spend time like alone with your thoughts, that's not much, but you're on your way to your dreams. Everyone thinks, how the am I gonna make $10 million? How am I gonna, I can't get a house because it's so expensive, and then they start thinking, this is a part of the reason being too smart is no good, because you're way over analyzing this massive problem, because the more you think about anything, there's a billion problems with it. But if you just make it super simple, today I'm gonna work out and spend time with my own thoughts, you're in the right direction. So don't take it so the problem is huge, but just chip away one day at a time, and you don't even need to think about the end goal of having a house every day. Like, you have that initial thought, and you're like, all right, now that's on the pinboard. I'm just gonna slowly work to better myself.
And what do you think holds most people back?
The idea that it's too big of a goal. So it's like, this is just, everyone says I can't get a house because it's too expensive, and that's what they say. They didn't get a house because whatever. I'm not even, you know what? I'm just gonna get a regular job. It's not even worth it. But I'm the perfect example of regular Joe with below average, not necessarily below average tools, but pretty average tools. Like, I'm not special by any means, and I found a reasonable amount of success. So if I can do it, why not you?
Here's what I'll say about you. You have two really great qualities about you. One is you don't overthink things, and whatever pops into your mind, you're just gonna go and do it without doubting yourself. So I think that's really important. You had that. The other thing you had is that you picked, I think, the right lane at the right time for your personality, because you're really entertaining. Like, that first video you posted is so unbelievably good that it's just like you can't help but keep watching it, because every moment there's just like another, like, people I think watch to expect you to like crash out at some point. They just want to see, like, oh, what's he gonna do now? And you keep people on edge. And you're really, really, really good on camera. Like, your hand movements and the way you speak, it's like, that's engaging. Like, it kept me up. I was driving late in the car, and your videos are getting me amped up at like 1 o'clock in the morning as I'm driving.
I didn't know I was good at YouTube. I didn't know I was good at making content until somebody one day said, oh, you're funny, you should make a YouTube video. I've never met once in my entire life, like, a person that's not good at it, like a useless person. Everyone is phenomenal at least one thing, but people just don't know what they're sitting on. Like, inherently, you're gold. You just think you're a piece of shit because you're embarking on all the wrong journeys, and then it's a negative spiral. You're going, like, the more you fail, the more you think you're a piece of shit. But you just need to try enough new things, and eventually you're gonna find that you're incredible. And that's what, like, I tell a lot of young people, like, you're not a loser. You're just not doing what you're meant to be. Everyone is top 1% at least one thing. Really, if you've ever worked a 40-hour week, that's not easy. Like, you know how to work really hard, but people don't give that credit to themselves, because they're like, oh, whatever, I only made $1,000 last week. You woke up at 5 a.m. every day. I couldn't do that. You outdid me, even though I have more money than you. You outdid me in hard work, you know? So everyone has something.
But what if they want to be rich? What if that's the goal? What's your advice to those people?
Don't try and be rich, because that's when you get lost in, you get too focused on the end goal. You will get rich if you become the best at what you love. For example, that dude that, what's the movie, the dude that climbs rocks and he does it.
Alex Honnold?
But I don't know, either way, no one would expect, I'm gonna climb on this rock so good that I'm gonna be a millionaire. That guy is a millionaire because he has a cool movie now and he's like the best at climbing rocks. I guarantee you he never once was thinking, I'm gonna climb on this rock for the money. So you just have to be focused on your passion and become the best at it. And the money, as far as my experience goes, just like falls into your hands once you're doing something that you like.
Would you say that money has changed you at all, or that you're happier with money?
Like once you get to say maybe 50K a month, then you can really do everything. And then the money beyond 50K a month doesn't have, like, I do not feel happier because I'm wearing $500,000 of jewelry. But I do feel happier that I have 50K a month, I can take my friends on a vacation and my mother out to a nice dinner. That's the really where the money is valuable. As far as money changing me, no, I always had, a lot of people think it's like I talk about money and I have a big ego. I always had a really big ego and knew where I was going. I just never talked about it because the proof of concept wasn't there. Nobody wants to hear somebody that's living in a frat basement and talk about, I want to be so rich. What the, you guys have a fucking idea. But now that I have the money, I feel more confident in talking about money because the proof of concept is there. There's credibility. So I don't think it's changed me at all.
How did you get started gambling? What was the first time you did that?
Oh, dude, I must have been like 15 years old. I can't even really. Online casinos is what everybody, like, me and all my friends in high school is like, let's bet on. Well, I guess it would start with betting directly against my friend. I bet you $5 this. And it's like, okay, that was cool. I won $10. I didn't have to do anything. That's cool. I remember the first time me and my friends opened up an online casino. It was one of the most fun nights we've ever had. We gambled $20, and it lasted us about 4 hours, and we went up to 100, down. And it was such a special memory to me. Like, the second I gambled for the first time, I knew that I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. This is incredible.
And what was the most happy you've been for a win that you remember?
Gambling is best when you're broke, because then it's like you're either not eating that day or you're going to eat steak. And so it was, we did a $1,000 Plinko ball. Me and my 3 friends split it, and it hit a 9X. So we made $9,000, and at the time, I didn't have rent money. So I had rent money for 3 days, and that was like the peak. I've never been happier in my entire life, and I only won $3,000. It felt probably 10 times better to win that $3,000 than it did to win whatever. My biggest win was like $1 million something.
Do you feel like you're constantly chasing that feeling?
100%. But I've accepted that I'll never feel that unless I go broke again, which is exciting. That's a productive thought that I just had. I shouldn't be afraid of going broke because life is more potent when you're broke. The stakes are higher because I don't have the safety net of, at least I got a bed to go sleep on. At least I can eat food tonight. Like, I go after this, if I lose $1 million at the casino, at least I can go get out to dinner still. But if you're broke and you're gambling, then it's just like, life is so much more exhilarating. Everything.
Maybe this gives you a motivation. If you lose everything, there's only up.
If you feel like you have nothing going for you, you have nothing to lose. So might as well go for it. Do it all.
When would you say you were most broke?
After I made the $1 million when I was 18, I think I owed the government maybe like $200,000, and I had $13,000 in my bank account. So that was probably the brokest.
So how long did it take to recover from that?
Well, I took that $13,000 and I put it into Pepe 2 days after it launched, and then it turned into $1 million over like maybe 8 months. So it was like 8 months.
Dude, I need financial advice from you.
I think
just
that was
always Pepe.
Well, you know what's funny is the reason I like Pepe so much is because of that experience. And it's funny that I bought Pepe because I would have never done that, but I was just like, I'm fucked. Like, I am so fucked. I don't even know how I'm going to get this $200,000. So I was effectively full tilt, but full tilt on life. So I was like, I guess I'm just going to pick a random meme coin, and I'm going to put my entire net worth into it and pray. And I just scroll through the meme coins, like, oh, Pepe the Frog, that's funny. Picked that one, and then now it's like worth, what, $6 billion? And I invested in it, it was worth like 30 million. So that was just pure luck.
Do you feel like you had like an angel or something looking over you? Just
a
like
lot of people say Togi's got plot armor because somehow it always just works out. But also, I think that's the plot armor comes from being so willing and confident. Like, manifestation is a very like the law of attraction is a very real thing. If you can taste it, if you can see something that's so real that you can taste it, I don't know why or how that works, but it comes your way. So I think the mindset and me being so in touch with what I want and attracting the things that I desire has given me this like quote unquote plot armor.
Do you think you're addicted to gambling?
I don't think Gamblers Anonymous has ever seen a beast like me. I swear, sometimes I watch myself on stream back, and I'm like, what the is wrong with you? Because I don't think I could go maybe 48 hours without gambling. Like it is, I'm full on, have to gamble all the time. But it's also awesome. Like me and all my friends are also addicted to gambling, and it's like a very fun experience. And we have a very strong bond over.
Do you think that's maybe you guys all enabling each other and like kind of justifying, or maybe
Oh my
it's
God,
saying like
don't do that.
maybe
It's
it's
like-
normal because it's all you see, it's all you're around.
If you were to, so say you're like feeding for crack, you're addicted to crack, you probably feed for like maybe once every 3 hours. Then you're in a room with 10 crack addicts. Every 10 minutes, somebody's like, you should do some. When you're gambling, it's like, yeah, every 10 minutes I'm sitting with my friends and somebody's like, let's go gamble. So it is very enabling, but it's cool. It's not causing problems thus far. But I seriously can't stop people.
What's your plan long term? Is it going to be one day you're going to stop, or you're going to scale back?
Well,
or
here's the thing, and this is something that a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around. Typically, I don't think a week out. Like you guys saw, it was very difficult for me to schedule this podcast because you were like, you want to do this in a month. I have no idea what I'm going to do in a month. I might be in Dubai in a month. I might, So I think my life is scheduled out in one YouTube video at a time. I'll be doing a YouTube video, and I'm like taking a bunch of notes in order to edit it. This was a while ago. But I remember one time thinking that I was gonna die because of the drugs, and I was just sitting there like, just get this YouTube video out, and then you can just get this YouTube video out, and then you can. So it's really like I have no thought further than roughly 30 days, and then it's just like in my head.
Are you afraid of dying?
Definitely. I no more afraid than anyone else per se. Like everyone's afraid of me.
So why wouldn't you take precautions to lessen the risk of you?
Oh, I would like to do that. And now that I have the money to do it, it's easier. Like I'm getting an MRI on my whole body, figure out like exactly what's I need to like address and focus on. Might get my blood work done more frequently now, just to like make sure everything under the hood is good. But then again, it's like when you're battling like the addiction of whatever it might be, like it's gambling, and you want to be healthy, like it's very easy to fall into a week-long bender, and then you come out and you're like, okay, not good. We should run that back and not do things of that nature. But that's kind of like everyone has internal conflict, and that's like one of mine. It's like I don't want to die, but I also love doing some gambling. So it's like
if I could give you unsolicited advice, you don't have to listen to it. I would create a budget every single month or week or day actually that you gamble, guilt-free, and if you lose it, you go down to zero. Totally fine. But as long as you
I
create
have
a
done
budget
this before.
without going over it,
There's
do you
no self-control. Like once you get in the mind of a gambling addict, like it's literally like I've tried to do that at least 10 times. I've never stuck to the budget ever. Once I start taking, it's like you're sitting there, the whole responsibility, like you're sitting there and you're either in responsible mode when you're like, this is all, and I need to set a budget, and then you're sitting at the table and you don't. That conversation you had with yourself 4 hours ago never happened. It doesn't exist.
I'm curious, what generally causes that tipping point between like, okay, I'm done with Plinko, I'm gonna clock out for the night, or like, I'm done with this bender, I'm gonna return back to normal life. Like, what usually is the motivation for you to continue?
Well, the 1.8 million is because Rubet locked my account. They said you're done gambling.
But you would have kept going.
I would have kept going. And then like the bender situation, it's usually predetermined, right? Like you have a vacation, so it's like I'm gonna be here for 7 days. When we were doing the Hoagie vs. Combo video, the trip was planned for 3 days, and we ended up being there for 13 days because every day we just like let's extend it. So usually it's like once your body is like you can't take any more. Like at a certain point of doing so many gambling, like you do get exhausted, and you're just like, okay, the ROI is no longer there. I can now, and this is very quickly. Don't hit this in. Like
All right, I'm gonna have to call tonight. Thanks everyone for joining.